What a day for a daydream, custom made for a daydreaming boy. How you doing? It's good to see you. Your favorite author, Tom McAuliffe, here with you. Come visit my website at www.authortommcauliffe.com, McAuliffe. I really appreciate it. Welcome to Uncle Tom's Cabin this week. We have a very exciting guest coming up. Anne McNicol. She's a wonderful author. She's got like 4 or 5 books out, new book coming out. And we're going to be talking with her in just a minute. First, I want to just mention please like and subscribe. It's so important. Basically, I'm persona non grata with YouTube until I get like, I guess, 50 subscribers or something like that. But uh, we always are going to provide you with timely interviews, actionable information that you can use, or to find your next book, your next want to read. So we're also talking about music, world affairs, whatever else you want. You can also email me questions, and I've got a couple questions coming up. And that's bookinfo@nextstopparadise.com, just how it sounds. That's the name of our publishing company, Next Stop Paradise Publishing. And so you can reach me at www.authortommcauliffe.com, and send me your questions that way, or you can email me directly, bookinfo@nextstopparadise.com, and it'll be right down there. Um, got some other exciting news. We are going to be having, and I'm having a senior moment. Um, the woman who wrote the Divergent series. I love those movies. There's like 3 of them. Um, uh, she is a New York Times best-selling author, and why she is fooling around with me is beyond me. I don't mean that literally. I mean coming on our show. But she is a best-selling, big-time author. She's going to be coming on. Also, the author of a book called Atomic Habits, and he's going to be coming on. So we're not going to just be talking about if you're an aspiring author or a current author, and want to come out with a book and how that process works of independent publishing. But we're also going to be talking about books, not just mine, but other people's. I was just bringing up with Anne my book, Soft Shell, Teddy the Talking Turtle. This is about a turtle at the Navarre Marine Sanctuary near where I live. And so, some other things that are happening. We've got the world's largest convention for independent publishing and self-publishing happening in November in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, man. You come and see Las Vegas in Las Vegas. Um, that's coming up in November. Author Nation. I want to say it used to be called 20 Books or something like that. It all started with a guy that came up with a formula. There's actually a book that talks about this. Basically, if you write 20 books over the course of those books, they'll generate 50 grand, like that. Those days are over, I think. Um, but it's exciting. I've got a brand new book coming out. I don't have the cover right with me yet because the ARC copies are only coming in, but it's called Atlantis. They're still here. And it is part of a 4-book series that I'm working on called the Leviathan Protocol series. And it's all archaeological undersea adventure, thrillers. And so be checking that one out. We'll be talking a little bit about that. We have some other authors coming up too. S.D. Houston, wonderful local author, lives right around the corner from me, actually. Um, and uh, and so we're going to be doing that. Also, I have been remiss to tell you that all of my books are now available at Apple Audiobooks. All of them. I think there's about 4 more that they still need to do. Um, uh, But for example, Soft Shell just came out. Thirst, the #2 book in Leviathan theories, just came out. And so that's kind of what's happening with us. I'm next week we're going to be talking a lot about music. I've got 4 or 5 new CDs coming in. Um, and we're going to be talking a little bit about music. If you have a favorite CD, I'm just about to get, in fact, it might come today. This guy, Peter Gunn, or what's his name, Michael Gunn, um, did a CD called Music for Writers. So I'm going to be checking that out, and some other things. Do you like to listen to music while you write? Do you like just silence? Do you have the radio on in the background? Television? How do you like to write? Let me know. Let me know. I appreciate that. So before we get on to the interview, if there are some other things that you'd like to see on the show, please write me and let me know. And once again, please check out the website and like and subscribe. Well, I'm really super excited this week to have this next guest. I've known her for quite a while. We met at a book festival in Orlando about maybe, I think it was what, 2 or 3 years ago. She'll tell me.
3 years.
Is it? Okay. And she's working on a new book. She's got a very successful book series out there now. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Please welcome Anne McNicol.
Hi there.
Oh,
Happy to. Thank you for inviting me.
wonderful. Well, you've been a Jack, a Jill of all trades in regards to science. I know you've worked in the field for a long time with laboratories with NOAA, NIH, the University of Florida Veterinarian School. But for most of your career, you've taught science. You have the heart of a teacher. You're a teacher. So my hat's off to you. I know that you left teaching in 2019 and that writing is your passion. And now you no longer need a job. You're one of the most successful authors going.
Well, I love being retired and not needing to worry about making hordes of money on my books, but it is a lot of fun.
There you
and
go.
I love writing.
Well, when you're not writing, you've got your husband, and I know you walk along Tampa Bay a lot and ride your bikes and do camping. Life is good, as you say.
Yeah.
What are you working on these days?
Well, it's funny. I worked in science for a long time, and when my first child was born, I found that there were conflicts with working in laboratories and the timelines and having my child be the first kid in at daycare and the last kid picked up. And that was the point that I decided to, well, what can I do with science that will give me more flexibility? And I did an education degree and then taught for 38 years and discovered that I really liked education. I really liked teaching, and I really loved teaching science. So it worked really well. But that when I had a child, everything changed. And that's true for most people that have kids. It's an incredible commitment. So the new book that I'm working on is actually a memoir that's called Before I Was Mom, because you lose track of who you were before you took that milestone event. And not that I ever regret having had children. It actually made me re-examine life to what was important, and that was a good thing. Nothing has been quite as rewarding as raising 2 wonderful human beings and being part of their life. And I love them.
2 sons. 2 sons?
A daughter and a son.
Oh, one of each. How about that?
My daughter is in New York and my son is in Tampa, so he's somewhat local. I feel fortunate to be very close to both of them. And I wanted them to, at first it was just going to be a family project. I wanted them to know who I was before I was teaching. But of course, having written 4 fictional books, I'm versed in writing scenes and making it come alive. So I went ahead, I took a class in memoir writing and decided that, yes, this could be a published book. It doesn't have to be just for family.
Well,
And I
have you
started,
have you got grandkids yet?
no, and I may not actually ever have them, which makes me a little bit sad. But I understand a lot of young people these days are deciding not to have children. And, as a writer of environmental climate fiction, I can well understand the perspective of people in today's day and age deciding that that's not what they want to do. They are looking at the future and worried.
Yeah, yeah, that's easy to see. Tell me, so have you always, let's go back to the beginning. Have you always been a writer?
I was a reader. Okay. I grew up reading science fiction voraciously, as many people my age. We didn't have cable TV, for God's sakes. We read and read and read, and I discovered science fiction very early. I dabbled in writing it when I was in high school. I was editor for our creative writing magazine, and I dabbled with it some more in college, but I had a really big barrier. I don't know if you know that I'm dyslexic.
I didn't know that.
And
No,
oh yeah, and as a matter of fact, the memoir is a big part of growing up with dyslexia and battling that. And for somebody that wants to write in an age before there were computers, before there were spell check, it's an incredible barrier.
now
So
tell us what that is. Tell us, because some people might not know. What is dyslexia?
dyslexia, words don't look the same to me as they look to you. You tend to invert the middle letters of a word. So when I was young, I could not read out loud because the written word was a different language than the auditory word. And I didn't actually put the two of them together.
Fascinating.
Um, as a teacher, my students got a big kick out of this because I'm writing on the board and I would invert letter numbers in the middle of them. And I cued the kids in to look for this. I'd go, listen, I'm doing the best I can, but you're going to have to catch me when I do it. And they'd chuckle and they'd give me a hand with that. But, um, there's a big controversy in writing about use of AI and not use of AI. I will tell you that without spell checks, without Grammarly and Writing Pro, there's no way that I could hand anything off to a human editor and not have them take out a gun and shoot me. You know, as a matter of fact, my current book is going into the final proofread in October. And when I contacted my editor, who's done all of my previous books, she said she doesn't normally do memoirs, but for me, she'll do anything that I give her because she knows I have it pretty darn clean when she sees it.
That's a keeper. That's a keeper right there. Um, what was your first book? So you've got four books out now.
First book, as you know, was Charlie's story. You helped narrate it. Okay. Second book was The Nest.
Beautiful
And
cover. Beautiful covers.
third book is Tentacles.
Very nice. Now, did
Fourth
you do
book,
your own cover? Show that cover again. That's gorgeous.
I did this one.
Wow. Now, did you use AI to help with that?
I did. Actually, it was funny. I redid the cover for Tentacles after I hired somebody to do Cyania, and I
Oh,
loved
that's
his work.
number four, right?
Number four, and he used I forget the mid journey to concept it, and we went back and forth until we were happy, and then he did the final cover for it. And I was so taken with it that I decided to have a go at Mid Journey myself, and I redid Tentacles. Yeah.
Now, did you have a hard time doing what they call the prompts and learning the prompts? Tell us
Yes,
about that.
it's very difficult. And then when I redid Tentacles, I did send it off to the cover artist that did Cyania and had him do the final formatting of it. But this time I didn't have to go back and forth with him for the concept. I don't think you can just use Midjourney. I mean, you do have to work with the prompts. And I loved it. It was so much more successful than the artist for Charlie's story. This went back and forth between the two of us, and I never got it exactly the way I wanted it because I hated asking him for all the changes. that when you're working with somebody with an AI prompt as well, you can keep asking for changes until you've got it the way you want it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the illustrator has to put the final touches on it. But,
And is the story, is this all four books the same story, part of the same story?
it sort of is. It's the same characters. In Charlie's story, the main character protagonist, Samantha, is 14. And she, as you know, is a young budding marine biologist living on an island where her research father has introduced her to marine biology. And Charlie, of course, is the octopus. Well, they're growing up together. And in the nest, she now moves out of the central home, and she's a high school student and actually ends up as a beginning college student. And she's growing into her own, but she's still part of the nuclear family. And Charlie's growing up too. He's moved into more of a position of authority in his octopus community. I should say that in all of the books, they alternate point of view between Samantha and Charlie. Tentacles takes them to Cuba.
Cuba.
Ooh.
Cuba.
We're on
Wow.
the the reefs in Cuba. And it's I've had a lot of fun with how to do this and everything. My husband, who's my first editor, just says, "Oh, you can't just teleport them." I didn't, but you'll have to read it to see how they get to Cuba, because easier for Samantha than it is for Charlie, of course. And
Maybe we should set you up a book signing over there in Cuba. Maybe the Cuban government
yeah.
will let you in.
I'm desperate to go to Cuba and see the reefs. And of course, the travel has gotten tied down. I've looked into it, and you can go to do cultural trips, but they don't include going to the reef. And if I can't go to the reef, I'm not going. I'm sorry. Yes, I'd love to do the cultural things, but I have to go to the reef. And of course, Cyania takes me back to where I did my master's degree on marine biology, to Heron Island in Australia.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and we have a new species of in this too, but he's not the main character for the octopus. Um, there's a new group of octopus, the Australian great blue octopuses, which are Pacific, and so we've got Cyania, which means blue octopus.
And
And
octopuses are very intelligent, aren't they?
oh, they absolutely, absolutely are. And the more I dig into it, the more I see in the literature of language, culture, tool use. And this is far-fetched, but it's not that far-fetched. And
Well,
the reviews have been very kind that way, of saying how grounded in science it actually is.
well, I've read the first one and probably three-fourths of the second one, and you're a very talented writer. And I wanted to say this too. Um, I was really struggling when I met you at the book festival. That must have been what, like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah,
And you were very encouraging and very kind to me. And we sat and we
I
talked.
love your books.
And I really, really appreciated that. And to show you kind of how our lives intertwine, not just yours and mine, but all of us, and how we affect others. Um, that book and your inspiration led me to write my book called Soft Shell, about a talking turtle at the Navarre Marine Sanctuary. And I went and got my scuba certificate now. So I'm a certified scuba diver. And Sharon and I have been doing some diving, and we just absolutely love it. I often say that if more people dove in this country, we'd have less of a drug problem,
Oh, absolutely. I
because you
was
come out and you're just,
I got my first certification in diving when I was 14. And and I've been diving on and off ever since then. I was PADI and NAUI certified, and actually helped teach it when I was down in the Keys. I gave it up for a while, a very long while, when I was in Australia doing my master's degree, and we lost a diver. And I spent days with the team looking for the body,
oh,
which we never found. And it was years before I was willing and able to go diving again. I kept it to snorkeling for a long time. But I recertified as a mature adult. And I've been diving recently in the Keys and in the Bahamas, which is fun.
Very cool. I'm doing a series of books about underwater archaeology, and I'm bringing that up because Sharon and I are going to spend a night or maybe 2 nights on the old Sea Lab. Back in the 70s,
You
as you know, we had the Sea Lab. It was like, and I often say we know more about the surface of Mars and the moon than we do about our own ocean floor. And that needs to change. But yeah, you get to spend 2 nights. You go down, it's anchored, 38 feet, 40 feet down off the Isle Morada.
Yeah, John Penny.
Pennicamp State Park, underwater park. And so that's going to be, it's going to be
That's my,
interesting to see if I can harness my claustrophobia. But they bring the food down to you right there in the,
I believe you can see the surface from the observation dome.
oh,
Uh,
very cool. Very
so
cool.
I don't think your claustrophobia will be too intense. It's light.
Well, it's going to be very, very interesting, and we're looking forward to it. Um,
When are
so
you doing it?
we're probably going to do this in November. And so I just wanted to go back in on the 4 books. Where can they find them? They
Um,
find
they're,
Amazon Kindle.
oh yes, they're on my website. They're on Amazon. They're in books in Barnes and Noble. I publish them wide, so bookshop.org has them.
And what's your web address again? So they'll know. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen. But
My name, McNicola.com. It's very easy. I'm Ann McNicol, so it's McNicola.com.
and spell the last name for them.
McNicola.com.
.com. And before I was mom. That's a great title. When do you think that your
I
memoir
usually,
will be coming
I
out?
usually try to get it out at the end of November. I've done one a year since I started this. And they usually come out either November or December.
And what would you say is the number one challenge a new author or an independent author like yourself has? What are the
Right
challenges?
every day. Just make yourself right every day and find intrinsic joy in writing. I would say do not set your heart on making a lot of money or selling thousands of books. It's not going to happen. But for me, I'm very joyful and very grateful that I have a nice retirement. I don't have to do it for the money. I can do it to put out books that my kids will be proud of when I'm gone. That, more than leaving them a legacy of a big financial gift, which of course we do what we can. Um, I'll be remembered as a teacher, as a scientist, and as a science fiction writer.
Well, outstanding. And where they can find them on Amazon Kindle, your website.
Any
Uh,
bookstore. If they just search by name for them, they're going to come up and they can buy them from any bookstore that they want. Now, Barnes and Noble, they don't keep them in stock from independent authors, but you can order them through their website and they'll get them into their local bookstore. Or if they have a good independent bookstore, I encourage them to go that route because I'm a firm believer in supporting independent bookstores.
Me
I
too.
did I did publish them via Ingram Spark so that they are available to independent bookstores to order them because they won't order from Amazon.
Sure. And
So
available as a paperback,
paperback,
ebook,
hardback, ebook, and audio.
and audiobook. And which would you say is your most popular? Do you think most of your customers buy books or ebooks or audiobooks?
Most of my customers buy ebooks. For every paperback second is paperback. Only family buy hardback. The paperbacks, for every paperback that I sell, I would say I sell 10 to 20 ebooks.
Wow. Wow. So it's very popular doing that.
And I that's fine for me. When I go to a book signing, I give away the little bookmarks that have the QR code to take them to different places to buy them. Um, and I have to admit, at my age, I tend to buy many more ebooks than I do hardbacks or paperbacks. I'm beginning to look at the house and the clutter and go, like I have paperback books going back from the 1940s and 50s. And I go, what is going to happen to them when I'm gone? You know, you get to a certain age where people around me are dying and you go, I have to watch the amount that I accumulate. So certainly my pride is not hurt when people buy an ebook rather than a paperback.
Well, you know what they say, life begins at 40.
Life begins at 40. Well,
Uh,
you know what?
so you're just starting. You're right at 40.
Um, 40 is in long in the rearview mirror. As is 50, as is 60, it's
What would you say is the number one challenge to being an independent author these days?
that's a really good question. Um, I've been told that I have a large degree of OCD for getting the book up there, for working with the formatting, for getting everything right. Because if you're a traditional author and you go through a publication house, they'll do the formatting, they'll do the typesetting, they'll set the book up, they'll even do the editing. They'll do a lot of things that as an independent book writer, you have to decide who you're going to hire. I do recommend highly using professional editors. And I would give a shout out to the Reedsy people at reedsy.com for typesetting, for making it easy for you to get your book formatted without charging you any money, and for their marketplace for finding people that are good editors. Because I definitely recommend having human eyes on your book at several points when you're doing it. You tend to be myopic yourself. I don't think authors can do all of the editing. And the technology tools are wonderful. I think my editor is very grateful that I use them, but I would highly recommend not using them instead of an editor.
Well, you mentioned artificial intelligence, AI. What do you think about AI, and is it and how is it changing your business?
Well, I'm more optimistic than most. I remember a key speaker when I first became a teacher, Frank Brogan, at a technology conference, and he said, "Computers will never take the place of teachers, but teachers who use computers will take the place of teachers who do not." I think technology tools is an aspect of our life that can be used to our betterment and will be used to our betterment. I think we're in an awkward point right now where, I mean, I know Amazon is desperately trying to sort out how to keep the avalanche of unbelievable crap that people are uploading to them as books that are written by AI. I think we're in a transition state and that will stop. I don't think that that's here forever. And I don't think we're going to see AI generating quality literature or even quality nonfiction without a human interface. I could see authors of nonfiction making great use of AI as information gathering and information organization to provide to the human to organize, clean it, present it, and give credit to the fact that they were using technology tools. I don't really see the same potential in literature, but I could be wrong. Um, I think that writers who use technology tools have a tremendous leg up on those that don't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know it's controversial. I know a lot of writers that say no technology, but they still don't write on an old-fashioned non-electric typewriter, do they? And they still don't insist on writing with a quill and pen. And most of them use spell check. So I think everybody's line that they don't cross is a little bit different.
I just thought back to the Remember the old IBM Selectric typewriters with the balls, the different
Oh,
balls
yeah.
that you could put on for different typefaces and stuff like that. I vividly remember that. Well, it's very exciting. Your new book, Before I Was Mom, coming out here in November. That would be book number 5. What does the future look like for you? What do you have planned for coming up in the future?
You know, it's funny. I was about a third of the way to half of the way into book number 5 in the Charlie story, and I got sidetracked into Before I Was Mom. And I'm still not sure if I'm going to go back to it or if I'm going to look for a new idea in something new in science fiction. I'll definitely go back to science fiction because my heart and soul is there. So many people have written reviews for Cyania saying it's so great. It was such a good ending to the series that I'm sitting here going, well, the next one actually introduces Samantha and Peter's child, Marty.
Oh,
So I'm not sure if I'm going to go there or not. I
well,
may, after I take a break, revisit it.
I didn't. I haven't read 3 and 4 yet, so I didn't know if they had gotten together. And
Yeah, they do.
that's exciting to hear you telling me that they got married. I've got to get that book. Um, well, thank you so much. I always close with this same question. If there was one thing you would want people to know about your books or about being an independent author, what would it be?
I think it's important for, particularly for science fiction writers, to look at the future, embrace the challenges that we are facing, but not to do it with a sense of desolation. To look for how science and people and humanity can move forward and to give people hope within their writing. I know that there's a lot of writers out there that their books are just so dark that when I close them, I don't want to go out of the house again. And I'd say try to keep your eye on the silver lines in the clouds that are out there, not to ignore the terrible problems that we are facing, but to search for solutions and encourage people to search for solutions.
That's very well said. Very well said. Um, do you think that women have special challenges or more challenges than other
Oh,
writers?
yes. Of course they do. I mean, my first job at NOAA, they only hired me because they couldn't get a man to apply. For God's sake, my physics class in high school, I was the only girl. You know, when I worked at NIH, I had to convince them that girls could carry 50 pounds, that we weren't wussies, you know. And I don't even want to get started with sexual harassment in the workplace. Things have gotten better than when I was in high school and college, and women have moved into the scientific workplace with a vengeance since then. But I do not for a minute think that they don't face challenges.
Well, give them the website one more time.
McNicol, that's McNicola for Anne McNicol, .com.
Well, thank you so much for coming by. We really appreciate it. And I hope you'll come back and tell us about Before I Was Mom when it comes out.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Ann.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye. Well, wasn't that fun? Thanks so much, Ann, for stopping by. We appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please, please. And join us again next week. I think next week we're going to have Flava from Get Authentic Book Reviews. Going to talk about the review process, what constitutes a good review or a bad review, and like that. If you've got guests that you'd like to see on the show, please let us know. I'm Tom Patrick McAuliffe. Thank you so much for tuning in. You make it a great day.